actually unconstitutional. Think about it. The Constitution, if you can discern a rule, says one thing, and a judicial precedent says another, contrary to it. That's the Marbury theorem of judicial review, right? Where the Constitution supplies a rule and a political actor or a governmental actor of any kind has acted contrary to it, you go with the Constitution and not the faithless departure from original meaning. Okay, now I'm really given the hook, and I'll pass it on.
Thank you. Okay, so not counting in my 15 minutes, a couple of words of why I'm here, what I'm doing here, as the one non-American, I think, at the conference. First, let me say, as a non-American, of course, my views about the originalism debate are entirely detached from the deeper currents of the debate, and I take no position on the question of the merits. I do come from a country which has a constitution largely modeled on the US Constitution, written in the 1890s. I could tell you at great length about the process, which I've written about. And a country whose High Court, the equivalent of your Supreme Court, routinely, perhaps at least regularly, draws on US jurisprudence in enlightening its own constitutional interpretation, and the whole relationship between the history of the US Constitution and the Australian Constitution is a much discussed topic in Australia. Let me also just add, as a sort of a note of my CV, I'm a law professor, but I have a PhD in history. And what I want to talk about is actually not about the law, but about the discipline of history. And I want to take advantage of the fact that the word history is in the title of the Constitution, to detach it from a discussion of constitutional interpretation, and indeed to challenge the whole premise that originalism and constitutional interpretation not only validly uses history, but to challenge this by asserting that originalists, but despite the claim they may deal in history, don't deal in history and can't deal in history. And I want to say, in a matter of the 15 minutes, which I hope start now, from this otherworldly perspective, why history is different from constitutional law, and indeed why it is virtually impossible for history to assist constitutional interpretation. And when originalists make a claim, whether they're good originalists or not, when they make a claim in the name of history, they need to understand that they're doing something different. So my starting point is the observation that all originalists, whether old or new, or all of the multiple varieties, and I think Mitchell Berman has counted